How did the battlefield photographers make their money?
Unlike news photographers today, Civil War photographers created their own market. They had to go out and capture images that were compelling enough to sell to an eagerly awaiting public. And not only were there photographs of the notables of the day, those were easy to sell. The heroes of various battles, that kind of thing, people were eager for portraits of that. But capturing the death and destruction of the battlefield was altogether a different subject, where they had to capture images that were compelling enough for the general public to buy them. But yet they also knew, I think, their place in history, where they had to record a lot of the stuff where they knew, well, maybe they weren't going to make a lot of money on this print, but yet still it was something that in the future, you know, these images would be desired. So they were really treading on, different ground here as they went about creating these images and telling a story that they felt was very, very important to tell. Now, if you read history books, you think Matthew Brady was this great pioneer out there by himself with a camera on his back and, photographing the entire Civil War, where actually, in truth, he had about 25 guys that worked for him. He was the Steven Spielberg of the 1860s. That's a more accurate representation, I think, of who he was. He may not be the man that's actually focusing the camera, but he's certainly the director. He's directing not only the image to be taken, but the logistics of the whole thing. Let's have a team here, make sure they've got this camera. I want this shot with this image. I want this lens on there. So very, very much like a director is today. And of course, at the end of it, he got the credit, photographed by Brady. Even though it was cameraman James Gibson, Alexander Gardner, Bywell, Powell, and on and on and on and on. All these photographers, Timothy O'Sullivan, that worked for him. Many times their names were lost to history. We'll never know who some of these guys were. Two of the more prominent ones, Alexander Gardner and James Gibson, decided that they got tired of having photo by Brady after their great work at Antietam, and decided that they were going to break out on their own. Gardner started his own studio. He took James Gibson with him, and he took another great upcoming photographer that was really an important name in Civil War photography. It's Timothy O'Sullivan. So it was the three of them and their team that were the ones here at Gettysburg that took all the photographs of all the dead bodies on the battlefield. When Brady did arrive days later with his photographic team, all the bodies had been buried. They did a much better job of actually documenting the various places where the battle were. They told a more complete story of the battle and just how it unfolded. But it was Gardner's photographs of the dead strewn throughout the cornfields and wheat fields of Pennsylvania. Those were what the public was very hungry for. And Gardner certainly was the first one there to capture those.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also visit www.discerninghistory.com for more videos and other resources.